Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching NDTV. An unprecedented record number of suspensions are rocking the parliament that saw a very serious security breach by two intruders last week. Since then, the opposition has embarked on protests demanding a statement from the Home Minister. The government, meanwhile, has made it clear that it takes the investigation into the lapses very seriously, but it will go on with this business as usual in the parliament, suspending parliamentarians who attempt to stall the proceedings. Today, 49 Lok Sabha MPs, including NC leader Farooq Abdullah, Congress leader Shashi Tharoor, Manish Tiwari and NCPs Supriya Sule were suspended for disrupting House proceedings. With this, a total of 141 MPs have now been suspended in the winter session of the Parliament, 95 from Lok Sabha and 46 from Rajya Sabha. TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee, meanwhile, was seen mimicking Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar, and Congress MP Rahul Gandhi was seen taking a video of it that also led to Mr. Dhankar taking note of this and calling it shameful conduct. Earlier in the day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in the parliamentary party meeting of the BJP and reportedly told BJP MPs never to forget, even for a moment, that people of the country had voted for them, rejecting politics of the opposition and that they should not be carried away by the theatrics of the opposition. Business continued in the Lok Sabha, including a discussion on the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, the rehaul of India's criminal justice system. The Delhi NCT bill was also passed. The opposition has called the suspensions a betrayal of democracy. In fact, the India bloc has called for a nationwide protest against suspension of 141 MPs on Friday. But the government has its own plans. To understand all of that, what happened today and what all is likely to happen tomorrow in the course of the next 3 days. Remember, this is the last full session of the Parliament before Lok Sabha 2024. Let's go across to Congress MP from Amritsar, Gurjeet Singh Aujla, who was suspended today. Mr. Aujla last Wednesday was among those MPs who had bravely overpowered the intruders who vaulted into the gallery of the Parliament and jumped into the chambers. Thank you, Mr. Aujla, for speaking to NDTV. Sir, आज आप सस्पेंड हो गए हैं. एक हफ्ते पहले जो हमने देखा था कि आपने जो है बाकी MPs के साथ जो इंट्रूडर था उसको पकड़ा था और उसकी पिटाई भी की थी, और आज आप सस्पेंड हो गए हैं. आप अपने सस्पेंशन को और अपने जो कॉलीग्स के सस्पेंशन को किस तरह देखते हैं, सर?
देखिए, ये बड़े दुख की बात है कि सरकार कोई बात सुनने को तैयार नहीं है. हमारी डिमांड ये है कि आप जो भी उस दिन हुआ है हाउस ऑफ द फ्लोर आकर जो मेंबर हैं अमित शाह जी और प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब आकर वहां देश को बताएं कि क्या हुआ है, ऑन द रिकॉर्ड सब कुछ हो. लेकिन वो वहां तक आने को तैयार नहीं है. और दुख बात यह है, जिस आदमी के साइन पे वो लोग अंदर आए थे मेंबर पार्लियामेंट के, उसको कोई सस्पेंशन नहीं, वो अंदर बैठा हुआ है और हम लोग बाहर बैठे हुए हैं. जिन लोगों ने उसको पकड़ा है वो लोग बाहर कर दिए हैं. जिन लोगों के साइन से आया है, जो बीजेपी के सांसद हैं, उनके ऊपर कोई कार्रवाई नहीं है. तो विपक्ष तो यही मांग कर रहा था कि आप जब चुने हुए हैं, जब इलेक्टेड हैं, सबसे लोकतंत्र का मंदिर जो पार्लियामेंट के ऊपर ये जो हमला हुआ है, तो उसके ऊपर आप बात कीजिए, आकर देश को बताइए. को हमारे सवाल है उसकी बात जवाब दीजिए.
मिस्टर औजला, सरकार का कहना ये है कि 2 कमिटीज हैं जो इस हादसे को देख रही है, लेकिन और टाइम भी लगता है किसी भी कार्रवाई में. तो ये बताइए कि काफ़ी लोगों का ये भी तो कहना है कि जितने बिल्स पास हो रहे हैं उसमें ऑपोजिशन एक अपॉर्चुनिटी लूज कर रही है अपना हिस्सा, अपनी ड्यूटी निभाने का. इसको आप कैसे देखते हैं, सर?
ये जो बात आपको बयान दे रहे हैं, तो ये बयान पार्लियामेंट में दे दें आकर. दिक्कत क्या है? ये बयान पार्लियामेंट में क्यों नहीं दे रहे? HM साहब वहां दे दें, प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब आकर दें. भाई, इतनी बड़ी बात हुई है 13 दिसंबर, जो उन्होंने बाहरी जो ताकत है, देश विरोधी ताकत है, उन्होंने आपको चैलेंज किया था कि हम इस दिन कुछ करेंगे. तो उन्होंने चाहे कुछ भी किया हो, वो अलग बात है कि वो बहुत बड़ी बात नहीं निकली. लेकिन एक वो दिन जिस दिन हमारे शहीद हुए हैं, जिस दिन टेररिस्ट अटैक हुआ है पार्लियामेंट के ऊपर, उसी दिन को चुनकर वहां वो लोग जो पहुंचे हैं, वो तो तहकीकात का विषय है, लेकिन कौन है, लेकिन वो एक हमला है एक तरह का. वो उनके मंसूबे कामयाब हैं. और एक जो हमने पार्लियामेंट बनाई है कि सबसे सुरक्षित पार्लियामेंट है, उसका भी सबके सामने जुलूस निकल गया पूरे वर्ल्ड के सामने कि ये सुरक्षा है आपकी. तो उसके ऊपर आप बात ही नहीं करोगे, इधर आपको बयान दे देंगे, ट्वीट कर देंगे. ये क्या मजाक बना रखा है? ये तानाशाही थोड़ा ना है, ये लोकतंत्र है. और लोकतंत्र में जब हम पूछेंगे सवाल, फिर हमें क्या वहां विपक्ष ने तो बात अपनी रखनी है, जो हमें कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने राइट दिया है. तो उसी तरीके से हमने वो प्रदर्शन किया, तो हमें सबको बाहर निकाल दिया. क्या इससे पहले जब यूपीए की सरकार थी, आपको पता कितने कितने मतलब गलत तरीके से प्रदर्शन होते थे और प्राइम मिनिस्टर को किस तरह चूड़ियां तक फेंकी जाती थी। तो अब तो ये सवाल पूछने को भी बुरा मान रहे हैं।
मिस्टर औजला, राज्यसभा चेयरमैन जगदीप धनखड़ का कहना यह है कि जिस तरह उनको मिमिक किया गया था, जिस तरह उनका मजाक उड़ाया गया था एमपीज के प्रोटेस्ट में, उसको बिल्कुल अवॉइड किया जा सकता था।
इससे सबसे बेटर तो ये है चेयरमैन वहां बोले सरकार को कि आकर जवाब दो। चेयरमैन बोल क्यों नहीं सकते? चेयरमैन तो न्यूट्रल होते हैं। चेयरमैन क्यों दबाव में आ रहे हैं उनके? चेयरमैन तो सारे संसद के मतलब कस्टोडियन है। तो ये चेहरा चेयरमैन क्यों दे रहे हैं कि सरकार को कटहरे में खड़ा क्यों नहीं करते कि सरकार जवाब दे देश को? ये तो उनकी जिम्मेदारी है चेयरमैन की। तो फिर नहीं दोगे तो फिर हर कोई आदमी प्रदर्शन करेगा ही। क्यों नहीं करेंगे प्रदर्शन? एक तरीका है, हमारी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन राइट है हमारा प्रदर्शन करने का।
141 MPs stand suspended, opposition MPs. To discuss this, we have Dr. Syed Zafar Islam, former BJP MP and spokesperson of the party. We also have Jebi, who is a Congress MP. And we have Aditi Phadnis, political and social commentator. Thank you, all of you, very much for joining us. Mr. Islam, opposition MPs have been protesting over suspension and they've been pressing for a statement by Mr. Amit Shah, the Home Minister. Do you think the optics of the suspensions is something that the party can definitely do without, sir?
Well, you have to understand the intent of the opposition parties. Not only in this session, but all the previous sessions of the parliament. You will observe that they didn't allow the parliament to function. They simply do not want the business to be transacted on the floor of the parliament, and they don't want any new legislation to be made, because they feel that the only objective they have as a member of parliament, that they want to disrupt the parliament. And this disruption is the only approach they have. The disruption is the only thing they want to follow. And they, unfortunately, very, very clear that they do not want the parliament to function. We have tried our best. We have discussed all the time that we will discuss every issues, whatever they want to discuss on the floor of the parliament. But unfortunately, they do not want to discuss anything. They want to discuss more. They want to disrupt the parliament, but instead of discussing the issues which they want to discuss, because Business Advisory Committee, we have discussed many times that these are the issues which will be discussed on the floor of the parliament. But the moment the parliament begins, they start shouting. They want disruption, and they want to be seen on the television that they are disrupting the parliament. So their intention is that they don't want to let the parliament function. Their intention is that they do not want new legislation to be made, but they are missing it. All the bills will become a reality, legislation will be made, and they will miss their participation. I think there has to be some method to madness in their mind, because they are losing the opportunity of participating in all the debate discussion which is taking place on the floor. And they feel that by doing this, they will get people's attention. But people have already showed preference for Bharatiya Janata Party, the way they have given us votes, the way they have helped us in winning the election. It is a testimony of the people's support and admiration for the Honorable Parliament and Honorable Prime Minister. And
Ms. Mathur, would you like to respond to that? Because this is an important point,
and you can see,
that Dr. Islam is making. And the Prime Minister also spoke about constructive politics today, and Mr. Islam is also saying that, the opposition is losing an opportunity to be part of constructive policy making. You think that is something that can impact the way the country thinks about the opposition now?
Vasudha, under the BJP government, it is not just chapters of chapters of democracy anymore. It has become a big encyclopedia of dark black democracy in India. What BJP wants is primarily they want to silence the opposition, they want to trample our rights, and they want to make sure that the democracy is hijacked. But let me make it very clear, we will not allow BJP and this government to silence our voices, silence the opposition. We will not allow to hijack the democracy, and we will not allow to trample our rights. And the India Alliance, the voice of India Alliance will be the roar that will shake the foundation of those who are undermining the constitution. And the BJP is going to pay a very heavy price. The successful meeting of India Alliance will be the stepping stone and will be a game changer, which the country is going to witness in 2024. And to your question, let me answer it. See, this is exactly what BJP wanted. This ruling dispensation wanted to pass the bills with no representation, with no voice of opposition to be heard. And that's exactly what they're doing. Such serious bills like Criminal Procedure Code, Evidence Act, they are going ahead with it by suspending 141 MPs. I mean, has it ever happened in the country's history? Have we heard something like this? If this is not dictatorship, then what is? What is a parliament without opposition? If it is only to say what they want to say, and not what the opposition want to say, how will the voice of the people will be heard?
As a senior journalist, who has covered parliament and politics for a very long time, how do you see this act of suspending MPs both in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, ma'am? And of course, the impact of all of this on policy making, because, it's quite unfortunate that important bills get passed without a proper discussion. I was hoping to, hear out a proper discussion when the data protection bill was being passed. And similarly, yesterday telecom bill, and today so many other things. And of course, the IPC bill is being discussed, and I would have really wanted a proper discussion on this. So, ma'am, how do you see something like this?
The overall record of the government in the last 10 years, when it comes to referring bills to standing committee or having consultations with the opposition on them, has not been very good. So that's one part of it. Standing committees are institutions where behind the scenes you thrash out differences and then come with a composite bill on which the opposition has a view. But that apart, I think it's what you're asking me is whose fault is it? I don't think it's anybody's fault. It's the logical thing to happen just before a general election is due. We have seen this as a regular pattern before every general election. The penultimate and the ultimate sessions of Parliament rarely get any business done. This government has pushed through some very, very important bills. More bills are to follow. In the Lok Sabha, the changes in the terms of the election commission and the election commissioner's appointment and working conditions is probably going to be passed before Parliament adjourns. You're going to have the Criminal Procedure Code discussions are going on even as we speak. But it is not a very happy situation. Why should the opposition not be part of these discussions? You've had very, very sober members of Parliament. Jairam Ramesh is hardly one to go to the well of the house, or Farooq Abdullah, who's in his 90s now. To see them suspended like this, Shashi Tharoor for the first time in 15 years that he's been an MP. It's very distressing, and I don't think this business of suspension should be viewed lightly. We are seeing many state legislatures emulating the center. Jharkhand Assembly today has suspended 3 MLAs. This is not a happy situation, and I think everyone should be concerned about this.
I'd like to respond to that. It's a serious point that she's making with state legislators also copying something like this, sir. And also the fact that, one more question, because we are running out of time. India Alliance, we saw a lot of cracks developing during the assembly polls, but this is suspension of 141 MP seems to be, a unifying idea. So, have you given a new life to India bloc, or do you think this is a non-issue?
Well, this Gamandiya Gadbandhan is not at all a threat to us. This India Alliance is working with the premise that they will perhaps will be able to defeat NDA, but they also need to understand the kind of support the Honorable Prime Minister enjoys and the admiration he enjoys of the people of this great country is something which is unparalleled. There is no parallel of this in the history of independent India. So away from that, that is not we are not overly concerned about their meetings, what they are thinking, what they are planning, because we know for the fact that they themselves will fight with each other, because every single meeting, Today was the fourth meeting, and then every single meeting, what they have discussed, we will fight against BJP.
Yeah, right.
There is
Jebi,
no set
last
agenda.
word from you. Do you think?
Let's just say last
yes.
thing.
Yes, yes. Sir.
Secondly, on the issues of the parliament, I must tell you that whatever they want to discuss, we are happy to discuss, and that is something which has been discussed in the Business Advisory Committee. But they need to understand that suspension is primarily because of their behavior, their conduct inside the house.
Right.
They need to behave sensibly and with understanding that they are a member of parliament.
Right.
They are not hooligans. They have the kind of approach they have inside the parliament.
Jebi,
So they
last
behave
word from you
responsibly.
on
If they
Dr.
behave
Islam's
responsibly, they will not be
observations
suspended.
that this is a non-issue and the unruly conduct of the MPs is the issue here.
Vasudha, asking or for an answer from the Prime Minister or the Home Minister to make in the floor of the Parliament on what has happened inside the Parliament as a grave security breach which has never happened before. Two people jumping from the public gallery to the house. What if they had poisonous gas? I mean, we have been discussing this time and again. All the Prime Minister or the Home Minister could have done is come and make a statement. That's all we asked, and if as MPs, we cannot even ask about something that has happened inside the parliament as grave security breach that has happened. First of all, they do not answer anything about unemployment or about Manipur or about price rise. When something such a serious, grave security breach has happened, what stops them from coming and making a statement in the House of the Parliament? After if they would have done that, there would have been nothing. We would have been what we are demanding was that.
Right.
And the government do not even feel that they should have
Ms. Mathur,
sense
I
of
get
accountability.
that point. Thank you, Ms. Mathur. I'm really sorry we're running short of time. Thank you, Aditi ma'am, and thank you, Dr. Islam, for joining us.